Howdy folks, it's Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Madness. It's just before midnight and we are doing an unboxing of Stalingrad, Advanced to the Volga, 1942. This is a Revolution Games. This is their latest release. It says Solitary Air Movement Series, Volume 1. So we're going to see more in this series as time goes by. I don't know what their production schedule is on those, but I'm excited to hear that. This is by designer Michael Rinella, developed by Roger Miller, who's one of the principal partners of Revolution Games. Maps and counters by Charles Kibler. Let me take the shrink off first. I've got, again, my usual slits here to make this a easier job to get my fingers in there. All right, so with that off, let's hope there's a little less glare and such. Well, that all depends. I'm going to zoom in so we can read some of this back of the box here. A 17 by 22 inch mounted map. Now, I think that's relatively new for Revolution Games. I'm trying to remember. Most of them that I can recall are paper maps. 5/8 inch die cut counters. That's good. They're not too small. There's 8 rulebook. 8 6-sided, 4 red, 4 black. That's cool. And so it's an area movement. Therefore, the nice big counters in the large areas, you don't have as much crowd as you can in hex encounter, especially when it's old school half-inch counters. That's always kind of a hassle for these aging eyes. I'm going to lift this up and read part of this here. It's an overwhelming sight. Beneath us lay the huge silvery expanse of the Volga. Stalingrad. One of the more frequently gamed East Front games, sort of up there with the amount on the West Front that Battle of the Bulge and Market Garden get gamed, or the Normandy invasion. All right, so I'm not going to go ahead and read all that out. Let's open it up and see. Let's not waste too much time here. Zoom back out a bit. All right. There we go. All right, they're not tiny mini dice, but they're on the smaller side. They're not your typical like Avalon Hill style dice, or even bigger typical commercial white dice with black clips that you see. All right, come on out. All right, now I'm gonna tilt up a bit because I'm gonna hold this up to show you things. I'm gonna angle over a little bit so you don't have that lamp glare directly at you. All right, it's not a glossy paper. It's smooth though, so it's not like a rougher matte finish. It's non-glossy but smooth. There you go. I don't know how better to describe that. So on the back here, I'm not sure what we're seeing. Main game, elevated heroes. What is that? Defense value. All right, so index and glossary here. I guess I'm going to need to zoom in here some. Wow, they're going to the basics. We're describing what 1d6 means. And, you know, for a totally new person to gaming at all, that, like, what does that mean? And it's so second nature to us gamers, especially people who have role-playing game experience, but a glossary is always good. And again, with with rules references. It's not a page number. Those are like a case system rules reference. For those of you that are not aware of the different kind of rule styles, case system is kind of like an outline. When you had to outline in school, and typically then you'd have like, you know, Roman numeral and then a, you know, regular Arabic numeral, and you might have letters, and, you know, you drill down, and we all hated doing outlines, but typically in the wargaming world, it's a number. You know, so a section 7.0, stacking 7.1, and then subsection 7.2. 7.3 is about, well, contested areas or stacking or control, and vacant ones. And you drill down, if you have a sub rule, like here, 8.0, movement, 8.1, mechanics of movement, 8.1.1 is something under mechanics, which was 8.1, and 8.1.2. So you just drill on down to more detail, higher level generalization down to more detail. If you combine that with a good English writing style, not too flowery, not too narrative. The narrative can be done in the historical notes, can be done in the design notes. But if you're just sort of like technical writing style, but free of jargon, or whatever jargon you have, you make it something you explain or have in the glossaries. Like here they're referring to D6, and they're explaining it here too, plus it's in the glossary. So I always like having rule books in the case format, and then if a game also has like an examples of play, which this one didn't list that on. We got player aids, we got our counters, we got our map. So this one hopefully has some, I mean, we're seeing pictures of units and stuff, but do they have any actual like a detailed example of play? That'll be yet to seen. All right, so 16 pages of rules. That's not exceedingly long. Sorry about that. That includes the front cover, so really 15 pages of rules. This must have something to do with, well, here, this is a factory district scenario. This is the main game. Okay, so this is some setup information about 2 scenarios. That's what that is. All right. All right, come on. You're like, yeah, so this does have historical history and suggested reading. You know me, Meandering on the mic. I like to do my suggested readings on some of these games that I play in depth. Game strategy. So that's good to see. All right. Factory district scenario. So they continued, yeah. So 14.5. There's some more information there at the end. Here, Soviet setup, 14.5. So there's information there. There's examples of play with some pictures. Stepping through the different phases, the dawn phase, random events phase, supply phase, combat phase, which would include movement, and the end phase. So we get, looks like a turn worth. There's optional rules there. So I'm going to turn this a little more now. Combat, mandatory attacks, optional attacks, contested areas, combat resolution. All right, so yeah, it doesn't look like super difficult or detailed rules. It looks fairly simple. A sequence of play here. Dawn phase, run events, breakthrough, supply phase. More about that. So there's some, within the sequence of play, there's some sort of specific rules about They actually, it's a what you call a detailed sequence of play, not just a high level. You know, if you look at the main in bold points, you could call that's the sequence of play. It'd be nice to have player's aid card. Player's aid card. Yep, there we go. All right. So see that there? So there's your bare bones sequence of play that you could refer to if you ever said, well, what again was the, sub-event, what was the thing about bloody streets or whatever, and then you could go into here, well, be back that way. So that's nice. Two-sided. Now, there was just one player aid card, is that right? So I usually like when they have two. Well, I was about to say, it's nice when you have two, but you remember when I was reading the front cover and I read that bottom part? Solitaire area movement game. It's a solitaire game, so you don't need two. Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Madness, speaking madness. Says brain meanders. All right. So let's obviously you want to take a look at the counters and you want to take enough rambling about the rulebook. Show me, Mike. Show me, Meandering Mike. All right. So those are nice readable counters. The little unit designations, which may or may not be important. There is color coding here. You can see these groups of colored units. So I would assume, like the 79th, the 305th. So easy to, now obviously if you're colorblind, red, green, you might, but you still have the designations. So they didn't rely totally on color. That's always a good physical design choice when you are a publisher. Take into account the poor colorblind folks and make sure they have a way to distinguish information not only by color. Now, this upper circle, there's some number that is, I'm guessing it has something to do with, no, I was going to say on activation cost, but it's like, well, what does T7 mean? And why would this be 24 versus this being 2 versus 50? Yeah, so it's not an activation cost. I'm going to hazard a guess that it's not a game turn entry, like, reinforcement schedule coming to this game. I don't think there's going to be 50 turns in this game. It might be the number on the map, like where that unit sets up or where that unit enters. Well, T7, that probably means turn, is a reinforcement. It's turn, turn, turn. The number is probably like a grid coordinate, grid label where they start. That's my guess. Folks. Oh, I should look at the back real quick, right? See what's on the back side. Well, the spent side. They've done their thing. They've made their move. They're either short on supplies or they've moved or it's some kind of suppression or comm result, but spent. They are spent. All right, control markers obviously got those iron crosses. You got isolated. So those are the same on both sides. Your overall supply count. You got heroes, guards, barrage. All right, those look like it might be a chit draw. Light urban, heavy urban, elevated, clear. So it's something in a terrain. It's either here are the options you have, or you're doing a chit draw to see what kind of result or effect or something you do. Could easily be part of this solitaire bot, I call it a bot, but whatever artificial intelligence they have for the solo. That's my guess there. Meandering Mike's guess. All right. Engineers, blah, blah. Okay, so now there was just one counter sheet, I believe, front and back. We looked at that. Let's see now. I'm going to flip this. up, out of the way. Now, I need to zoom it back so you can see more of the map here. Fabrikstadt. Obviously, those are the German names on the German map, not the Russian names. So, zoom in now. Okay. See up at the top, 48, 60, 50, 16. So, I'm not sure what those mean, but there's upper and lower numbers. I'm gonna zoom in even more. The leather factory. Ooh. So it is some kind of a labeling system on the top. And see, these have modifiers at the bottom, but numbers on the top. So the red rectangles. All right, so starting from here, 1, 2, 3 around. So these are numbered 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, going up through Stalingrad itself, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Now, 43. So you've got squares probably meaning something. Some spaces are rectangles, some are pentagons. So those are probably either how fortified they are or how critical they are victory point wise, or command and control or supply. We had some triangular ones, circles. What that means, I don't know. So that's something to find out. So they do have some just informational labels. Stalingrad airfield, Hill 107, Hill 98, etc. Silicate factory. All right, we all want to know, where is the steelworks? Where's the tractor factory? Barricadi ordnance factory, brick factory. There we go. Dzerzhinsky tractor factory. Yeah. Tractor factory, factory. Let's see how many times you can say that back and forth. All right, so we are at over 17 minutes. Let's wrap it up. Keep it under 20 minutes here, as we tend to meander all over the place. Out of action units, available support units. There are 14 turns. Cost and points. These are like action points or support, something to do to gain air support or infantry refit, morale boost, etc. All right, so don't know from here, but that's something to learn, to figure out what do those shapes mean. I'm gonna make a quick check here. We're not quite at 20 minutes. Does the Flares aid card have that quick and dirty info on it? No, we see here, Soviet defense strategy chart. So those were, a tactic, a strategy of those units in those particular type of terrain, like by color, German supply costs. All right, folks, we got 30 seconds to see if we can find that map. What should I keep going? Meandering Mike? Should I make it an hour-long video like I often do? I don't see it. It's in here somewhere, though. I'll tell you. It's in there. I'll post in the pinned, make a pinned comment once I figure out what that is. What are the shape of? I'm kind of stymied that it doesn't pop right out at me. Did I miss something on the map? No, I did not. So, well, guys, Meandering Mike, Man Cave of Madness. This has been Stalingrad, Advance to the Volga, 1942. Designer Mike Rinella from Revolution Games. All you good folks out there, take care and ciao.